Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is Kidlit Joy and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to review recent release young adult title Blood Moon Bride by Demet Deveroen. This is a feminist fantasy story that looks at some very heavy topics like genocide and culture and how some communities erase culture, and it also looks at patriarchal society that perpetuates gender-based violence and how that is tackled by our protagonist. So it is a very hard-hitting book. I would pick your audience for it. It's definitely not necessarily for a younger audience. Our main character is 15, turning 16 at the start of the book, and that does inform quite a bit of what happens within the story. Thank you to the publisher Allen & Unwin for sending me the review copy. The blurb on the back says, Rhea is a hunter with uncanny magical abilities, and magic has long been outlawed in Manama Valley. Every winter on the night of the blood moon, young women enter forced marriages for the valley's advancement and prosperity. But this year, Governor Kira has decreed that girls of just 15 must become blood moon brides, making Rhea eligible. When her pa dies, Rhea's plans of escape evaporate and she's paraded in front of suitors on show day. And when she is chosen to be a bride, she lashes out. As punishment, she's sent to the nest. There, Rhea must decide should she submit to the life of a blood moon bride or rebel and risk everything to fight for justice. So, not a light-hearted YA fantasy book by any stretch. At the start of the book, we find out that Rhea's father has just died. She and her mother are in their mourning period. And at the same time, she also finds out that the age for the Blood Moon Bride rite has dropped to 15. She doesn't turn 16 for about a week. And so she was supposed to have missed this next one and had a whole other year. And she and her mother were planning on escaping their village. And now she is forced into this situation. That whole first part of the book is deeply, deeply uncomfortable, and it should be, because it's tackling things that we know and see in our community and understand to be fundamentally wrong, and that is all happening to our main character. And so it is a really, really difficult first bit of the book to read. Rhea is a really strong-willed character. She knows that she has magic. She knows that she and her family are linked to a culture that has essentially been erased by the current regime, and she doesn't necessarily have all of the knowledge or enough of the knowledge in order to be able to utilize that yet. And so when she is sent to the nest, which is a home for people who just aren't obeying the political ideals of the time, where most of the community and most of the girls want to be chosen, they want to be selected as a bride for a man within the community for safety and security. At the nest, these are women who have questioned or who have spoken out against their husbands or have shown disrespect to them. And the woman who is running the nest is the daughter of the current governor. We know that there is something not quite right about her. She reacts very strangely in different situations. She has determined that you have to constantly be clean, and any kind of uncleanliness means that you cannot reshape your mind. Indoctrination, anyone? And punishments are severe and harsh and unrelenting. But Rhea and some of the girls recognize that they come from the same cultural lineage. They have similar magic, and so they make plans to escape. This is complicated by the fact that one of Rhea's friends is also at the nest, and she is unwell and unconscious for a significant portion of the book, and so that makes it difficult for Rhea to leave. And so it also highlights difficult choices that you have to make in order to be able to stand up and to fight back against something that you know is inherently wrong. And that's exactly what Rhea and her friends do. And it was a really compelling fantasy read. It was not a book that I had requested to read. It was one that was sent to me unsolicited, but I'm glad that I read it because it is a very, very strong fantasy novel. But I will say you do have to be careful about who is actually picking up the book, because I think there's a lot of nuance in here. It's not necessarily to say that younger readers shouldn't read it, because there are plenty of younger teen audiences who are ready for this content and who do understand what it represents. But you also need to have those skills to be able to talk about it and process it, because it's a lot. And I love that it goes there, because quite a few young adult books that try and do this kind of work often only get surface level, whereas I think this gets a little bit deeper than that. This is perfect if you are familiar with Lily Wilkinson's fantasy, young adult fantasy work, like Deep is the Fen. It has all of those feminist rage points in it with really strong characters doing the work. So I'm really glad that I read this one. In the description below, I'll leave links to where you can find out more information about the book and the author, and also the blurb. So if you want to go back and reread it, go for it. In the comments, I'd love to know if you have read any of this author's other works. I believe this is their second novel. And if you just want to let me know that you're here, but don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave a red heart emoji. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.